Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle. It is Tuesday, and I am Jenn here in Denver, Colorado. And I have Betsy with me today, down in San Antonio. How you doing, Betsy?
Awesome. Great. Fantastic. I don't know if you guys know, but in San Antonio, we celebrate Fiesta Week. And this week, it starts off on Thursday, I believe. So it's like 10 days of parties, margaritas, food, music. And it's my birthday on Saturday. So it's like the best week of the year.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Maybe I was on a flight and got down there and, celebrate your birthday with you.
We gotta make it. We gotta make it a mastermind. We're gonna make a mastermind out of that.
Totally. That would be amazing. So today we're going to talk about, those hard to sell listings. I don't know about you, but we all get them occasionally. And sometimes no matter what you do, there's still going to be a difficult listing to sell. And we all know that, there's price, location, and condition. Those are the three factors that drive whether or not a listing will sell, right? Am I right? Price, location, and condition. So those are the first things that we need to talk about. And then after that, you need to go into, in the beginning, we have to start about month supply, right? Did you go into month supply and figure that out before you set your price, right? But then after that, you've put it on the market, you've done everything you possibly can, and it's not selling. So what do? Well, Betsy and I were on a call the other day. And this is how this came up. And I said, Betsy, you have to jump on a call. And we have to talk about this on that Power Huddle. And it was really interesting because she jumped on and she started talking. And this is what we came up with, right? So I don't know, Betsy, do you want to jump in? Because this guy was on and he had a listing and he was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And
yeah,
pretty great thing.
I'm so grateful because we have this amazing collaboration, right? We get to, I don't get to see you. You're not down the street from me, but we get to chat and talk about hey, what's working for you? And the sweet man, he had all the great intentions and he had all the things, but he's in Lubbock in a community of maybe not so many people that he can kind of ping things off of. And I thought it was really fantastic. The opportunity for us to talk about what we do anyway in our market. And you're right, Jen. Pricing is super important. And sometimes, we could be guilty of taking a listing on just for the sake of taking a listing. And then we're, kind of okay. And then you have to chop the price, right? Because you didn't price it right to begin with. So I thought initially, got it on the market. Hopefully you had the conversation with your client. And I just met with somebody last night. They were persistent on listing for $450. And one of my agents, he says, hey, can you go in there and talk to them? I said, look, I'm a data person. I have a degree in IT and information systems. My thing is data. I mine that data. I look at everything. I look at what's going on. Really, the first thing is if you didn't get to set the right expectation with your client, now we're going to have to work on resetting that expectation. And so reassessing your CMA is super important. And so for example, last night, I said, before I even to move forward with that, I said, let me tell you what's going to happen with your home. You're going to be at the top of the price. There's a builder that's building a home with much better amenities, 2023, 2024 year built. Yours was built in 2006. Okay. They have bigger home sites with big open floor plans. Yours is kind of choppy. And not that it's a bad deal, but I'm just kind of showing, I didn't tell them in those words, but your floor plan is going to be significantly different. Your builder, Lennar, is not Highland Home. Highland Homes builds a very different product. And that's my responsibility, to be knowledgeable about what's going on in that neighborhood. My other responsibility is to tell them, okay, you're on a main road behind you. You're in a main traffic area. That's going to be an objection for some buyers. And you're on a kind of a semicircular cul-de-sac. So your backyard is really small, and then you're on a main road. So I want you to have the expectation that we're going to have people that are going to have that objection over your specific property. Okay. So this is why I think this is the number we're going to be at. And he understood, because I showed him the numbers. I showed him the information. I said, I would be doing you a huge disservice by coming in here and giving you a list price that we're never going to hit. I'm also going to stigmatize your home view, actually, because we're going to have to chop that price down, and we're sitting on the market for a long time. I don't take my listings lightly, because I invest money to get your home sold. So that should be your first step. If at this point you're kind of like, oh, now I got to redo the numbers, right? It happens. So my first point would be, okay, let's reassess my market analysis. Let me see what has happened from the day that we met to the day that we listed to where we're at now. How many homes have come on the market? What is your current competition? And where do we need to be? Because now we're 30, 45, 60 days. I don't know. Some people are 300 days, right? Let's see where we're at with that and reassess that information. The next thing I would do is I would look at what other sellers are giving in concessions, right? So what are other sellers doing in comparison to what you might have to expect if we do cut the price down? So either we can cut the price down, which I would prefer to be realistic with that, and then deal with concessions, or let's see what others are doing in your neighborhood. In our MLS here in San Antonio, and it might be the same everywhere else, and on my MLS, I can see a reverse prospect report. Does anybody know what the reverse prospect report is, or what that looks like in your MLS? Yeah, cool. So I look at that reverse prospect report like on day 1, maybe 24 hours in, and I look and I show my clients, I said, look, this is what I'm going to look at. If there's just a few, we're above too high. Okay. If we're listed properly, I'm going to see a lot of reverse prospecting going on, because you can see what realtors are pulling that home in a search, whether it's for their clients or whether it's for their own marketing purposes, or whether they just kind of want to know what's going on in the neighborhood. But I could see how hot your market or your house is based upon this reverse prospect report. So if on day 1, we went too high, you're going to know. So I don't want to put you in that position. The second thing I do with that is I go down that reverse prospect list, and if anybody emailed it to their client and their client expressed interest, right away I'm going to say, hey, what can I do to help you set up a showing? If you cannot show it, I would love to open that house up for you. Or we're doing an open house, send them over, tell them to tell me that they're your client. I'm completely collaborative with them, and your client would be treated just as anybody else. And let's get it shown. Okay. The ones that were maybes. Okay. What would work for your client that would make it a yes? Right. Okay. Well, let's work on that. And then I follow up with everyone that has shown the home. I harass them. They signed up for the harassment. I'm going to harass them. I call them. I email them. I follow up on the showing time request. I do all those things up front so that I make sure that I'm doing all the things for our clients. I also tell my clients, let's go check out the competition. Let's spend an hour together. Let's go see what your competition is doing. How is their home showing? How does it smell? Right? Those are things that are important. Why are we not getting any offers? We have showings, but we have no offers. Why? And then we don't hesitate, right, to check all of the check boxes and then redo your marketing. I'm not sure if you do, what level of marketing you do, but definitely, and Jen, jump in at any time. Let me know if there's anything you need to do. But I will, if I do a price adjustment, I have a database of about 6,000 or 7,000 people. I don't know everybody, but you know what I do? I send a mass text and I say, price adjustment, check out this beautiful home, or this home just came on the market. Check out this beautiful home. I don't care if they're a buyer. I don't care if they're a seller. I don't care if they're a realtor. I don't care if they're a title company. I send it to the masses because I want my client to know that I'm doing all the things and checking off all the boxes for that. So if it's stale and you already have all these kind of things going on, this is something you can do to kind of do it right now. And it's free and it's something to check it off. And like in the next hour or 2 hours, you can check off this checklist of things that I do. I do have a little slideshow. I don't know if y'all care to see it or not, but I do have like my points where I make sure I go down that list. Anything that you guys want to ask about that or that I can clarify before go to the my next opinion?
Pull your slideshow, and then I was going to make a few points on basically the same line of what you were saying. One of the things I do is I take like a map of a mile and I pull everybody who was actually listed a home and sold a home within a mile of that home or in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I pull the MLS and I get all of their email addresses and I send a digital brochure or a message or a text message of that property to an agent who is physically sold in that neighborhood or within a mile of that home and say, hey, did you see that this home was listed and do you have anybody looking in this area? Why do I do that? Because, you see the mass emails that go out, across your city and those go instantaneously into spam. If you're micro marketing to an agent who actually sells in that neighborhood, it's most likely not going to go into spam, right? If you're not using MailChimp, right? If you're not using whatchamacallit, the constant contact. If you're just sending a quick, through your CRM or through your Google, and you're only sending it specifically to to the agents who sold in your neighborhood, that brochure is going to make it through, right? And it doesn't take very much to do that quick search to that neighborhood, to that, right? And most likely, those agents do have a buyer looking in the neighborhood, right? So that's one thing that I do. And not everybody on here is at EXP or whatever, but the CRM at EXP, the QB Core, it has a search in the back end that you can drop your property into. And it has how many buyers are looking in this neighborhood. And you put it in and it gives you a list of who those buyers are and you pay for it. And then you can have your VA start calling and you can send that property to them via email. And they may be represented by another EXP agent, but that property will go to them. So that's another thing that you can do as well. Mm-hmm. And so those are two things that I just wanted to throw in really quickly to that same list, right? So I feel like that was something that needs to be said as well. So do you have your list that you want to talk about really quick?
Yes. Okay. Well, that's a whole slideshow, honey.
Oh,
let me get to it. Okay. So where was I here? There you go. So these are the things that you can do right now, right? So you can take action immediately. And gosh, there's something more frustrating than having to make that phone call. But I guarantee you, your seller is going to be so appreciative because sometimes, they might be misguided by Zillow. They might be misguided by maybe the neighbor that said, oh, I sold my house for more, right? Well, that's great. Marketing. Okay. So what can you do that you haven't already done, right? So if you didn't do staging, maybe the home needs to have a little revamp. Okay. It's more than just furniture placement. It's like addressing the view, right? I mean, are your windows clean? Are you looking out into the pool area? What does that look like, right? The odor imprint, right? Because my dogs, they stink. I know they stink, but some people don't think that their dogs stink, right? So they have to know that they need to maybe do a little bit of work inside the house. And so have a fresh perspective, walk back into it after you looked at the neighbor in the competition. If you did not do professional photography, listen, guys, when you take on a listing, and I know I'm probably not, you guys are not the ones in here, you have to do more than take your picture and your pictures with your cell phone. You have to do more because it may be that you need to use your listings as your work resume portfolio. Okay. So when you walk into the next listing, you could show them, look at what I've done, right? You showcase that. So do yourself a favor, hire a professional photographer. There are some that are very reasonable, $150 maybe. And then there's some that are a little bit more pricey, right? Depending on what you're doing. Virtual tour. You can do your own virtual tour if you want to. There's apps for that. There's cameras for that. If you need to be on the lower end, if not, ask the photographer. They do virtual tours. We hire one here locally and he does the whole, I call it the works, and he does the whole works for me. And yeah, it's an investment, but guess what, guys? My listings are moving. Okay. Property video. If you're not doing property video, you need to start doing property video, and it has to have you in it. Okay. It's fantastic that you're taking video of a house, but if nobody knows that it's your listing and you're the person that's actually doing the real estate, you could be missing a big market of people. But that video, you could you can use it in many different platforms, right? You can use it on YouTube. You can use it on a TikTok and Reels, and you can share it on your social media, and you can do it in your CRM. So property video is essential. It's not even optional anymore, guys. It's not even optional. And then targeted online ads. Are you running a paid ad for your listing, right? So here in San Antonio, we are Military City, USA, right? I mean, we have 2 large Air Force bases, and we have a large Army base. And if you didn't know, we are the home of the Brooke Army Medical Center, now called the San Antonio Medical Military Hospital, where lots of doctors and PAs and nurses come to train here in San Antonio. And also we treat a lot of our veterans here. So when they come into town and they're going to PCS here, that video is already targeted them. Okay. Even if their realtor did not send my listing to them, that video is targeting them, because I'm targeting people that are looking for homes, that are looking at Zillow, that are looking for the Air Force Base, that are looking for specific things. And then they've also been through San Antonio. So it is hitting them all over the place. And we target specifically. So if you're not doing some of that, it does cost you money. But again, your listing is going to make you a lot of money. And when you walk in there and ask for that commission, you want to make sure that you're telling them, look, I'm asking to get paid, but this is what I'm doing for you. Okay. Marketing materials. What are you doing? Jen just said, are you targeting specific realtors in the area? Are you targeting specific people that can help you out? We do a marketing brochure. I just had one. It's gone. It's a 4-page, and it's a fold over. So it's 11.5 by 17, right? So it folds over. I wish I had one, but I can't. I'm not going to hop up to go get one real quick. But anyway, it's a 4-page. It's got all the essentials on there, but it's got a QR code, and that QR code lands them on our property page with a video, with the photos, with all that. That is something that drive-bys can pick up out of the flyer box. We also send just listed postcards. We send open house postcards. We send price adjustments, and you can do it relatively inexpensive. You can, if you want to, you can go and visit people door to door. Oh, there's Jenn. She probably has a good one. And that QR code drives traffic. Okay. And you have to let your client know, look, I'm getting these many clicks on your property. People are clicking that QR code. That QR code is dynamic. I can see who opened it, who didn't open it. Exactly. So that QR code is going to be essential, not just because you want to know how many people are clicking on it. You also want to let your seller know, hey, look, this is what I'm doing for your home, right? I'm not just sitting, waiting, twiddling my thumbs, waiting for an offer. I'm doing these things. And so those are really great things that you can utilize to do that. And then, of course, your marketing materials, you can use that for future listings, right? You can show the next potential seller, hey, this is what I do for my listings. And so I did a listing presentation a couple of weeks ago here in Agent Power Huddle. So some of this might be there too. This is a big one. Okay. Who doesn't love an open house? I do like open houses. I have fun every time I have an open house. I mean, I try to make it an open house, but I make it an open house with a purpose. If you're going to do an open house, don't just go put your signs out, right? Yeah, put the signs out, but do it with a purpose. Create an event on Facebook and Eventbrite, okay? Create it engaging, make a Canva post, whatever. Create an event for your open house. Don't do it a day or two before. Plan it out a week or 10 days in advance so that you can get all the things going before you get there. Nothing worse than being in an open house with all the snacks and all the cookies and no one shows up. That's like the worst, right? So plan it with a purpose. Make sure that you add that to Zillow. If you're not on Zillow's Premier Agent, your MLS should have an open house tour on there that you can add on there. Make sure you're putting it on there. Make sure that you're promoting it well in advance. Spend a little bit of money on that event, okay? And do a campaign for it. If you don't have a business page for your Facebook on Meta, make sure that you get one. And if not, you can boost it, but really you're going to be more strategic if you learn how to do reach and retargeting campaigns. That's a whole different subject. But if you learn it, and I'm sure somebody here has probably already, come out with some of that. If not, you can read Krista's book that's coming out with the whole retargeting. I did a whole chapter on that for her. That's always important because then nobody's really going to know unless you do it. So, and then this is a good one. Invite the neighbors for a VIP exclusive an hour before your open house starts. Okay. The day before, you can go door to door. Okay. And you can go drop off, or if you want to mail it in advance. And VIP invitation, make it pretty, make it like this is for you specifically. We are opening up the home an hour early for you to preview. If you know anybody that's looking to buy in your neighborhood, we'd love to share the home with them. You can do either or. Super important. It makes them feel important. And guess what? They're going to be the ones that are going to be like, when someone's showing a home, oh, it's a great home, you got to buy it. You want them on your side. Here's another one we talked about that day was doing it with a purpose and host a home buyer seminar at the home. Host a home buyer seminar, right? Put that out as well and invite your favorite lender and bring them out and do a buyer's seminar. If the home is in an area that can do down payment assistance, like here in Texas and specifically in San Antonio, we have some areas that are, we're the seventh largest city in the country, but we're still very much a lot of rural area. So we have the USDA program that's a 0 down payment for buyers. That's huge, right? If you have something like that in your area or down payment assistance, bonds and programs, your lender will know. Bring that lender, bring them out to that home buyer seminar, do something collaborative and share it. The same marketing, the same campaigns, the same invitations. And here's another one. You know what I love? I love collaborating with small businesses because it's a win for them. It's a win for me. So invite a ice cream truck. You don't necessarily have to spend a fortune, right? If it's already April here, we're going to be like 90 degrees this week. Invite a food truck, maybe a friend that wants to do that, buy a few tickets and a free whatever, right? Snack that they offer. Do an ice cream truck, do something that's going to be engaging. It calls attention to the neighbors. They're going to see that you're the person, because guess what? They might want to sell their house soon too. So you want to be that person. Okay. And then again, mass social media awareness, put it everywhere, share it with everyone, tag the most famous person on your friends list, right? Tag that person that has 50,000 followers or whoever, right? Tag that person, use it, leverage it, do that so that you can get the mass exposure that your client deserves. Anybody have any ideas that I didn't cover about an open house that maybe you want to share here? Okay.
Swim teams, sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
When my kids were younger and we had swim teams, we utilized them a lot, not just for open houses, but, we used to do Flag Days, Veterans Day. They were always trying to raise money for the teams. So we would raise money for the teams. We would hire them to go and put out our marketing for us, because we were always trying to beat in the meadows of Castle Rock. We were always trying to beat another agent in getting the flags out. So we would hire the swim teams to come and help us, drop those flags in the neighborhoods. And so it was a great fundraiser. And then sometimes we would do car washes at the open houses. So then we would have the swim teams come, and the homeowners would allow us to use their water. I don't know if they would do that anymore because water is so expensive in Colorado, but once you go, we do car washes. Sometimes you can do car washes at the car wash, and say, if you visit our open house, you can have a free ticket to the car wash. Something like that.
Yeah. And one thing I did not mention is I do door prizes. So guys, $25 Amazon gift card goes a long way, and people will come just for that. But, opportunities are everywhere. There's so much. I think we only have an hour to talk about stuff, but, you think about it. Think about things that are just out of the box, like things that are not traditionally because there's no right or wrong answer. We could
do a whole thing on open houses too, follow up with guess the price of the house, blah, blah, blah. One thing before the end of the call, and we might go over a little bit, and hopefully iron doesn't kill us, but I do want to talk about really quickly after you're done with your slideshow, the thing about the lender that you had. Yeah. So after the slideshow, let's pop onto that too really quick, because I thought that was really important that you share that with everybody.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And offer solutions for your seller. Did I miss a slide? No, that was it. Offer. Oh, this one. Oh, I love this idea. Co-op with other realtors, right? So if your neighborhood, if your house has multiple properties that are selling, connect with the other realtors. When my listings are kind of sitting stale, I call the other agents that are in the area and say, hey, what are your showings looking like? What are you seeing? What kind of feedback are you getting? And you'd be surprised. Other realtors really, really do want to collaborate. They really want, to know, because the industry is changing. It's not anymore about figure it out, right? There's still a lot of people like that, but it's changing. And if you're not in the community of realtors that are willing to come alongside you, right, then it's okay. You be the one. You can be the one to start that off. So I call them and I say, hey, what's going on with your listing? I've got my listing is kind of slow. What are you seeing? A lot of them is we're competing with builders. And so they don't have the same equity that a builder's pockets do, right? So we're having to come up with different things. I love this concept, and this idea is coordinating an open house tour within the community with other realtors. So if you have 5 or 6 other listings in the community with other realtors, do a big, massive open house tour and be the hero. You be the hero. You do the one that does all the marketing, because we just talked about how to market an open house, right? You be the one that, hey, let's collaborate. Let's put this together. I'm going to post it. You do your part. I'm going to do all this other stuff. And we're going to get to do an open house. And every open house can offer something a little bit different, right? But let's do a massive open house. And we did this a couple of weeks ago, a community of builders. There was 6 different builders, and they did this big, massive realtor event for realtors. And so each builder had a different offering, right? Some of them had cookies, another one had burgers, another one had something else. So they all had, but it was a really, really effective mass marketing effort. And they brought in a ton of realtors, and they had, not food trucks, but they had that. So build something like that with your fellow realtors and do an open house tour with others in that area. And of course, get the feedback from your other realtors as well. Like, what do you think of my home? Get feedback from them. What do you think I should do? Because that's what we're doing here virtually. But the people that are in your community, they're going to know a little bit different things about, that specific community. And as always, any little thing you can think about in that neighborhood, in that community, promote that. So if your house is walking distance to the school, your house is, there's a new grocery store coming up in your neighborhood, use all that and put content out about your community, about what's coming up, about the new Chick-fil-A that's opening up at the corner here, about the new school that's popping up. Be the expert in your community, because all this is going to be useful for your marketing. Okay. And then find possible solutions for your sellers. So for example, there are other options, right? So maybe that kitchen's a little dated. Maybe they got carpet and it's just, doesn't present well, or maybe they need some new sod in the front, or it's whatever it could be, right? It could be some things you can't change about it, but some things you can. Maybe it needs a deep clean. Some of those things are super effective, and it's going to change the whole appeal. But there's bridge loans. I don't know if you guys realize this, but there's bridge loans that a seller can utilize that helps them use the equity in their home for things such as remodeling and repairs. It also covers the down payment and closing costs for their purchase of a home. And so they can use this bridge loan to be able to buy a new home, get out of the old home, remodel, redo some of the things in the old home, and then put it up for sale where you're in a better marketing position, right? So they could utilize that equity to be able to do that. That loan will cover for them monthly payments on the new, on the previous home, any kind of expenses for repairs and stuff like that. And then also if they have enough equity, they could cover a lot, right? And then Curbio, I don't know if you know Curbio, but Curbio does repairs, and they do get paid at closing. So if there's enough equity and they have, Jen says thumbs down, there might be vendors in your area that are willing to do that. Sometimes I personally will cover certain expenses. If I know it's going to be something that's a quick sale, but the carpet is really nasty, I'll cover some of those expenses, and then it's in the listing room and I get paid back. So there are some things you can do. And then express offers. I don't know if you know if your brokerage offers it, or if you can join something like express offers. But for us at our brokerage, and I am with EXP, we do have express offers where if the home, it might be something that is an investor special that we're just not, maybe it's something that the seller is willing to take, and as is. There are investors that are sitting, waiting and looking for property specific to maybe the one that you have, and you can present that to the investors. And then if you have your own network of investors, you might be an investor yourself, right? And say, hey, look, we're going to market, but if not, I'm willing to make you an offer after we've done all these things. Okay. And then prove it, because you don't want to be the jerk that comes in here and says, oh, yeah, I marketed. I didn't market your home and now I want to sell it. I want to buy it for really cheap. And don't be that jerk. And then open door. Open door is always a solution. They buy homes all the time. It's not for everyone, but it is for a lot of people. And they might be a good solution for yours. So depending on where you're at, those might be things that you can look for your client. And then, so those are things that I was thinking about. But there's so many more that we can discuss and break down in detail from here. What do you think, Jenn?
Oh, I think that you're right on track. Right on track. I think, we all have those listings though. Like once you have it listed and you're sitting there and you're going, okay, what do I do? It's not moving. Some of the other ones are. And sometimes it's the whole market, right? Sometimes we just have to be honest and say, this is what we have and this is what we have to do, right? And it comes down every single time to price, location, and condition. And we have to be better agents up front, right? Are we taking listings that are overpriced? Are we being honest with our clients up front? Are we taking the risks up front? And, we're always being honest with ourselves. Are we chasing listings, right? That's the term us old school people call it, chasing a listing, right? And that means you take a listing at this price and you chase the listing down, right? Until it finally comes to the target price. And I personally stopped doing that. As a matter of fact, I went on a listing appointment last Monday. They wanted $725,000 for it. There was another listing that was under contract. It was listed for $630,000. It was the exact same listing. It was nicer. It was under contract for $650,000. It just appraised for $640,000. It pointed to the right. This one pointed directly towards the mountains. This one pointed to the left of the mountains. They were both walkouts, the exact same floor plan. The one that pointed to the right was in better condition. They wanted $725,000 because they pointed directly towards the mountain. I told them, no, like we can list it for $650,000, but you have to replace your carpet. You have to replace your baseboards. You have to move out because it smells like dog. And, I wasn't that brutal. I gave them all the people to fix it up and do the things. And I didn't get hired because I'm a horrible person and I wouldn't take it for $700,000, right? Or $725,000.
And sometimes, and that's okay, because I think personally, when I tell somebody, listen, here are the numbers. I didn't make this up. This is coming straight off of our MLS. I'm not making these numbers up. And I'm not only giving you I'm showing you everything in your neighborhood, right? There are 27 listings in your neighborhood. There's about 7 with price changes. And then this is kind of where you would be at. Now, I would never put you in a position because I'm your agent. You're hiring me. I'm your agent. My fiduciary duty is to you. My goal is to sell your home, right? My responsibility is to share the information with you because that's what you're going to pay me for. Nobody ever asks me how my commission comes up until they see the net sheet. But I tell them, this is what I'm going to do for you. But I am investing. I show them all of my marketing that I do. I show them all the pictures, the photography. I show them examples of what I pay for in my Meta. I tell them I've reached personally in my Facebook ads. I've reached over 5 million. I've made over 5 million impressions. I show them the numbers because I guarantee you nobody is doing that. And I can tell you in my community, there are agents that might be doing something similar, but they don't know how to express it, or they maybe don't have that kind of data behind it. But I'm showing them. And so when I walk into a listing agreement, if you're not, you're hiring me. It's like if I walk into the dentist and say, I need a root canal, but I want you to do it like this and like this and like this. No, right? I mean, that would be outrageous. And so I connect that with the seller, right? Like the guy last night, he is a soccer player. I mean, a soccer coach at the university. And I said, it's like me coming in to tell you, like, I don't know how to play soccer, but I'm going to say, kick me the ball this way, this way. Like, you're looking at me like I'm crazy because that's not my job, right? But my job is to be your expert in selling your home. I didn't just, come up with this overnight. I've been working on it for a long time. Let me show you. And so then it becomes, okay, I get it. Now I get it. Because the worst thing you can do is put your seller in a position that they're never going to get that. And then who ends up being the jerk and the bad guy? You. I don't care. I don't need to put my sign in your yard for that because you're not going to be happy with it. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to get listing fatigue. You're going to get tired of packing up the kids. You're going to get tired of making the beds. You're going to get tired of cleaning up the dog poo, all the things because you want to hit a mark. And just bringing it full circle, the sweet lady last night, she's like, I said, no, I'm thinking 415, this is why. And I gave her the reason. She goes, well, could you do 420? I said, no, we're doing 415 and take it or leave it. I'm not going to, I'm not, because it's not about me. You have nothing on the table. Oh, but I'm not going to take less than 410. Well, you don't even have 410. You have nothing on the table. There's nothing on the table for you to take. So I put it in nicer terms. But, you think about your language and how you speak to your clients. But I'm saying, well, currently you have zero. There's nothing. We have nothing. And if we put it on the market above what I think it's going to sell for, you're going to ask me, Betsy, why didn't you? So, yeah.
Hey, Betsy, do you ever do you ever use this? What's your payment?
Yeah.
Do you ever do the list
every 30 days? You have another mortgage payment.
Yeah. And how many? And if you make 2 payments, so for those of you who don't know this, so if you ask the question, right, and they say my payment is $2,000, right? Okay. So you would like to list your property at $420,000. And I'm telling you to list your property at $415,000. Okay. So if I'm telling you to list your property at $415,000 and you list it at $420,000 and you have to sell on the market for 60 days, that means that you're going to pay 2 more payments of $2,000. So that's $4,000. So what happens after 60 days? You are generally going to have to reduce your property down to $415,000 or probably $410,000 because now you've been on the market for longer than I told you to. So if we started at $415,000 today, you might be able to sell it for $415,000 or maybe $420,000 because we're pricing it right. And the buyers may come in and offer more because it's priced correctly. But if you don't, and we started at $420,000, you're most likely going to sit on the market. You're going to sit on the market for 2 months, right? So you've made 2 payments. So you've lost $4,000. Now we're probably going to have to reduce it to $415,000 and maybe $410,000. So now you lost your $4,000 minus 10, right?
Here's something to think about too, right? I mean, is your seller going to use you to buy another home, right? And did you establish that relationship with them in terms of like, okay, listen, how do I get my seller to come to terms that they have to reduce the sales price, right? And usually I'll say, listen, when you purchase a home, I am going to help you make up that difference, not in my commission, but in my negotiation. Okay. Now, I am a master certified negotiation expert. I'll brag about that all day long. I am going to do my job to help negotiate for you concessions and whatever is available, right? So I'm going to help you with that process. Now, is it guaranteed? No. But if you're giving up $5,000 a year, I'm going to help you make that up in the backside of your purchase. When you buy, we're going to work on getting you concessions and getting all that done so that you can't just be short-sighted about like, I must have this amount. At the end of the day, you have zero, right? So our goal is to maximize the return on your investment. And thank God that you're on the positive because, you have money returning to you, over your investment. But we're going to work on doing this, right? But I can't get you there until we get here. So this is something that we're going to talk about. And then, find those points that kind of hurt them because this particular seller, they bought this home and I said, oh, you didn't follow your homestead exemption. I was looking over their taxes and she's like, what's that? And I said, oh, well, I explained to her, I said, your title company might have, or your realtor might have explained it to you when you, she goes, no, they didn't. Or I don't remember or whatever. I give my clients when they buy, I give them the information, a sheet with their packet on the tax exemption. I send them the link. Tell them all the information they need to do. Sometimes I print out the form and we fill it out right then and there. So they have that done. They didn't protest their taxes. All of my clients and all the people that I know tell them, protest your taxes. It's time. You need a CMA. I got you. They never their taxes went up over $90,000 year over year. And guess the thing. And I told them about the backyard and the street. And they were like, our agent didn't tell us that. We bought this house sight unseen. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. But you know what? We're not going to make that mistake again because now we're going to look for something that's going to be in a good position for you. Okay. So sometimes those things, those painful points for them, you have to use them because you're the solution for that pain point. And so if they're thinking like, I can't bring down the price or I can't offer concessions and I can't do this and I can do that. Okay. Numbers are numbers. Let's move from this column to this column and they're going to balance out. Okay. If we have to give concessions here, we're going to ask for concessions for you on this side. If we have to do, take a cut because it's going to be a little bit more challenging to sell your home, on the next one, we're not going to have a backyard that backs up to a main road or to a power line or to those things because that's my fiduciary duty. So you are the hero. They're looking to you as the expert. But at this point, what we're talking about today is if your listing isn't selling, just redo it. Okay. Redo the market analysis and stay on top of that communication with your client once on a Monday and once on a Friday. And every time they have a showing, call for feedback. What's going on? What can we do? What does your client need? They don't like the carpet. Hang tight. Seller, they don't like the carpet. Are you willing to do a concession if we offer that up? Absolutely. Okay. Hey, if that's the only point of contention, if we can do carpet, is this something that would work for your client? Yeah, absolutely. Let me get on that. Okay. What do you need to make an offer? Okay. That's your job. It's not just putting the sign in the yard and hoping that it sells. Your job is to work on it. And some people say, well, why does a listing agent get more commission? Well, hell, you don't even know what happens on the back end of a listing. You're just bringing a buyer. I want you to make an offer, but you're going to hear from me. So believe me, that is going to go so far. And the agents that are on the other side are going to appreciate that because maybe their buyer is being flippy floppy. And I don't like that house because of the carpet. I don't like that house because of the paint. Well, guess what? If we can make it happen for you, would that be a solution for you? And sometimes buyer's agents don't know how to do that necessarily. I'm not saying that they don't, but if you are the catalyst and the conversation with them, then you can make a solution for everyone, right? And then at the end of the day, let's get it to close, right? I'll tell you what I do for my sellers, and this might be something useful for you, and this helps them to think about how much money they have to negotiate. I offer them and pay for it a seller's coverage. It's a home warranty, residential service contract in some people's language, but it's a home warranty that covers the seller from the time that they're in the listing part. If something breaks down or comes up in an inspection that needs to be addressed, we can drastically reduce the amount of money that they're having to come out of pocket to make a repair happen. Okay. So it's not going to repair a roof, but if the AC needs a freon, if the water heater has a leak, if the dishwasher's not draining, if a bathtub is backed up and, a ceiling fan isn't turning on, whatever, those things that are nitpicky for buyers, our seller's coverage covers that. That could save you thousands of dollars in repairs. Wouldn't that be helpful to you? Absolutely. What does it cost me? Like $60, I think. But hey, I invest. I have to invest in my listing because I want more listings. And that's the way the ball rolls.
Well, I hope everybody got some value out of this. I know there was one more subject you wanted to go over, but we went like 20 minutes over today. Which is fine. There was one that I kind of wanted to hit, which was teaming up with the lender, especially if, yes, you can. It will be on the agent, Darius, it will be on the agent collective. We always record these and we put them on the agent collective site. And I think they pop in the next day. So the recordings always on the Agent Collective site. You can come in the next day, grab the recording. And so I would reach out to Autumn or send them a message if you're having a hard time getting in, for sure. So anyways, but back to my point, Betsy had brought up that, there was this guy and he had, he lives in a community, or he was selling a home in a community, and I think it was VA or something. And she said, team up with this lender and offer, I don't know, something with VA, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to get too far in it because we're literally 20 minutes over, but like if we can say it in 20 seconds or something, this is a great idea to implement, to team up with a lender to offer this, and then we'll say bye.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, lenders have so many resources. Team up with a lender that offers VA. This one specifically has just exceptional seminars. Get with a lender that you can trust, that can come sit with you, that can mastermind and collaborate, and has a strong social presence, because you can leverage that with them. There's so many things that they can do, but the VA buyer is so underserved in so many areas. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was definitely the services. And it's a zero down program, how much they can pay, how much they can get from buyers in terms of buying down their rates. So a lot of really great opportunities with partnering up with the business partners in your area. So leverage everybody, leverage the title company, leverage your people. Our title company does a property report, and they'll provide to you all the CC&Rs, the covenants and restrictions, the title search. They do a lot of upfront things for you. So leverage those people to help you. They also do just listed and just sold postcards for you on your listings, and they pull market. So do what, all the tools. But yeah, sorry, Jen, I went a little over.
No, it's okay. I do it too. I always worry that Autumn's gonna kick me out of the Agent Power Huddle. You guys are put you my hair and we're talking about
someone's room. But yeah, you guys, I'm in San Antonio, the real Betsy Flores on Instagram. Hey, Harvest Real Estate Group is our team name. So if you want to connect with me, feel free to find me on Instagram, Facebook. I see a lot of my friends on here. Thanks for coming on by. But definitely, I use it while I got it, because once it's gone, I'm going to be in Italy somewhere, just drinking Prosecco, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going with you.
Okay. Y'all have a fantastic Tuesday.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Bye.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.